All right, we're live.
We are.
Now we are. Dinah Schaffer, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. We
you.
realize that this time of year is very busy with vacations, and you're just so plugged in with activities, and you're like stretching yourself. I don't want to say thin, but
Sometimes.
you're doing a lot, which is super cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to like say we have a celebrity here, but you're a pretty
about
big
that.
deal. It's just pretty cool having you here.
Thank you.
And I know some of our listeners will know who you are and some of your background, and some of them are going to have no idea who you are.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for both because
me too.
I think both are still going to hear a new side of you and different pieces of you.
Yeah.
And as I always say, I'm super excited to get to know you more by doing this. So this is a privilege.
Love it.
So why don't I like to, I'm not expert, but I'll do a little intro. So you are obviously a daughter. You are a twin. You are a musician. Very good vocalist, if I may say. You're a speaker. And
Try to be.
you run or like co-run or manage a charity or a foundation.
Yep.
What am I missing? What else do I got? Don't be
Ooh.
bashful. I think I got
I feel like
most of
that's
it.
the gist of who I am today. Now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean, that's not going to change. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
And I also got my 2 older siblings too.
yes, sorry about that. Yes.
No, you're good.
So, yes, you have 2 older siblings as well. Mom and dad.
Yep.
And so why don't we start, because like I said, I don't want to just assume everyone knows your background.
Right.
You've been plugged into faith, and you've kind of grown up in faith.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So you don't have like some of us, and I'll just point the finger at myself. You don't have the prodigal son story or the come to Jesus moment, or like you were blessed and
Absolutely.
God gave your family and gave you, that calling early on.
Yeah. So grateful.
So why don't you take us through a little bit of that?
Yeah.
Like just, we don't got to go when I was 2, when I was 4, when
Yeah.
I was, just kind of give us that run through of like growing up younger faith, what that was like in your household and where God was.
Okay. Yeah. I always tell people before I turned 18 and a half years old, my testimony was so boring and I'm so grateful for it. Right. So yeah, my family lived in Foley, Minnesota when I was born. And then we moved when I was 3, to Monticello, and Resurrection was always like our home church. But yeah, I was baptized in a church in Foley, when I was a little tiny baby, and, people have their opinions about, ages you should get baptized or whatever, but I just feel like the Spirit was just always covering me since I got it baptized when I was young, and haven't felt the need to rebaptize or in a way or rededicate, because I've just always, followed my faith. And my parents have always been good examples. All my grandparents, especially my grandmas, I feel. And just always grew up going to youth group and kept it going.
So what are like your early like memories of following? Like what is that? Is that youth group? Was that Sunday morning worship?
Yeah.
Was that, things at home with your family? What was kind of hey, I always remember doing this when I was younger, and it was kind of just like a staple.
Yep. I mean, always just going to Sunday morning church. Went from when I was a little tiny girl. And then, I just always went to youth group, middle school. And I mean, I kind of stopped junior and senior year of high school just because I wasn't getting as filled up as I needed to, but kept pursuing it kind of more in a personal relationship. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. But I would really just say, the act of going to church was always keeping me in my faith.
For me, I grew up going to church as well, but I'll be honest, and maybe that's where I had took a prodigal son route. But there was definitely mornings where I was like, oh, I got to go to church today, like or I could sense it like between my parents, and they're like a little tension, and they're like, we got to go, but like you could tell everything was just like off the rails, but like it was like the right intention was there, but maybe the way we got there wasn't always right.
Yep.
You, was it pretty much like, hey, no, we with this like. It was like almost like you craved it,
absolutely.
Like the family, like, hey, this is what we do.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And my dad being the leader of our house, like I feel like he was never like, oh, we're not going. Like we were always going, even if we travel. Like we try to find a church a home away from home and go. So it was always just kind of like it's not even a question. We just go, and for some reason, I just always, I never got that moment of I don't really want to go or whatever it was. I did just crave it and stuff, and I obviously still do, but lost my train of thought, but
No,
yeah, I've just
okay.
always wanted to go.
Well, I think
don't know.
you brought up, and I think that's a very real subject nowadays, is the importance of having like that strong father, like
Right.
that strong faith.
Yep.
And I think that's something that has kind of went away. We've kind of like tamed the idea of like what a Christian man's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing how much influence a dad has to
Right.
their, you know, I think the mom is so nurturing and so
Yeah.
loving, and just, that's kind of the role. Right. And they do that so well, but it's amazing how the kids still, I feel like the father figure shapes like,
What they do, we're doing.
kind of like the foundational stuff a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yep.
So that, I mean, compliments to your dad on, you know, having
Yeah.
that well-guided path and like staying on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was my mom too. Like,
Yeah.
we
Oh yeah.
both-
No, I'm not
yes.
saying your mom didn't help. No. I know. But
Yes.
like, just, you know, like you said your father, you know, the leader of the household. Like I think
Right.
that was
And
being a leader, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I think now more than ever, there's kind of that, hey, co-leading, and I'm not saying anything like women can't lead. I'm just saying
Right.
like men have kind of taken a back seat for some
Yes.
reason on
Yep.
the initiative of leading. You know, like, hey, you have the ability to lead here.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like maybe scared to, or
Yeah.
there's something, you know, I don't know. But so no, that's just the way you said it. I was really like, that's,
Peanut gallery here.
yep. Peanut Gallery is already
love
jumping in. God, this is like record timing.
I think it's John's talking about this because just for me listening to you, like this is an inspiration for us as fathers,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like
Good point. I'm talking to her about the inspiration I'm getting. Yeah, already.
I love it.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's a good point. As you're talking to three of us here that are all
Yeah.
fathers, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, and I will say this, like, and not to get on my dad at all or anything, but I mean, like, yes, we would pray before dinner, all those things, or before meals and stuff, but I feel like it was not super like, hey, Donna, look at this scripture I found, or let's pray together over other things. I mean, as I got older, it was, you know, more natural, or more, we would do it more, I guess. But when
Yeah.
I was like super young, I didn't really see like the personal relationship that my parents had with the Lord, I guess.
Okay.
And they didn't really show it to me, I guess.
Yeah.
It just wasn't how we rolled when I was younger, but always just the consistency of going to church and stuff like that. That's what really, yeah. And so just grateful for that. And now, yeah, as time has gone on and our lives have changed crazily over the last 2 years, yeah, it's starting to see, you know, we're sharing our personal relationships that we have with the Lord and stuff. And so that's super inspiring to, you know, hear from my parents and stuff, and to see my mom reading her Bible like
Yeah.
every morning, and my dad going to groups and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, like, just another thing, like if you go to church, like that can also, just that one little thing can really impact your kids.
Be the spark.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because I think certain things your parents do, you don't even realize that
Yeah.
they were like doing, because it's just who they are,
Right.
right? They just,
Yeah.
that's what they do. They
Yeah.
read at this time in the morning, or
Yep.
they do this, whatever. It's just their thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I would have never realized that my mom, you know, wakes up at like 5 a.m. every morning and reads the Bible. Because guess what? When I
Right.
was a young kid, like I was the kid late to the bus
Yeah.
every day because I wanted to get every minute of sleep
Yep.
I could, you
Yep.
know? So I never knew.
Yeah.
You know?
Or
so
you don't know when your parents are praying for you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they do it by
Yeah.
themselves and they don't go and tell you, you know.
Yeah, but it's interesting how you grow, you know, as you say, you grow, and then the relationship with your parents change.
Right.
And
See
and
it.
you have a very close relationship. Even prior to the events you went through, I mean, you guys have always been a very close family.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think that's
So
pretty
grateful.
cool.
Yeah.
That you guys have that.
Yeah. And not even just my immediate family, like not just us six, but my entire family. Like we are just so close. And I'll get into that more, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe, but
Yeah. You know, you were I mean, we were talking about it earlier before we started, like treasures in heaven. You're
Yeah.
like your family, like
Yeah.
and how you're just excited. You know, Adam brought it up, and it's like you're talking about how your family and
Yep.
people, and it's
like all I care
okay.
about now.
Yeah, that which
It's just my
amazing
people.
how grounding, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the distraction of the world and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yep.
And with all the things you're doing, how easy it would
Right.
be for you to be distracted.
Yeah.
And obviously that comes with to being, you know, a humble servant
Yeah.
and knowing who your father is.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm talking about God there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't want to get into like the tragedy.
Yep.
But you know, you mentioned how you said you had this boring, you know. All right, guys, so that was her testimony. All right, we got it. Here, everyone got it. We have to touch on, or I'd like to just touch on, you know, you mentioned the first 18 and a half years of your life were boring, you know,
Yeah.
easy testimony. And then
They were not
you
boring.
No, sorry.
yes.
A boring testimony,
Yes,
right? Or you
yeah.
didn't have this crazy
Yeah.
testimony.
Yep.
It obviously took a crazy turn,
Yeah.
a unforeseen turn and a tragic turn when you were 18 and a half.
Yep. Exactly.
On a trip with your family,
Yep.
your dad and your twin sister. Do you just want to, like I said, I don't want to get into tragedy. I don't want to go down that
No,
path,
yeah.
but just kind of set the stage of kind of what you went through.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of get through the backside of that and where you're going
Yeah.
and what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I also want to touch one more thing
Yeah,
from
please.
my childhood, I guess,
Yes,
before we
yeah.
carry on, because I feel like it's also made me who I am for sure and made Gina who she was too. But we started leading worship for the very first time when went to youth group, so 6th grade. We would just go up there and sing to like our karaoke tracks because I mean there was some other students that would come and do it with us too, but I feel like we were always super consistent in doing it and we truly just enjoyed it. We served in Sunday school classrooms all the time and loved it. And then I think 8th or 9th grade, right around when COVID hit, the worship leader at church asked us to lead on Sunday mornings too with the band, and so we started doing that. And I just feel like that really grew Gina and I's faith, like being able to be the hands and feet of Jesus and just seeing how it's affecting the people around us in our congregation and our community was so impactful. Because sometimes I'm like, why did our faith grow so rapidly? And I really think that's why, is because we were serving from such a young age. And so that's my encouragement for anyone listening. If you have kids or if you're young or even if you're not young, serve. It truly grows who you are as a Christian. So anyway, just been pondering that a lot lately, but I just feel like the leading worship aspect of my life really formed me and Gina. So yeah, I want to touch on that before I got to
thank you. Oh, and that actually, that brings up, because like I said, I want to get into your music now. Yeah. Did you guys, were you guys like, on the karaoke machine at 6, running around like was singing and music kind of always something, or was it like something that just kind of hit you guys both like organically, or was it like you guys were always singing and worship and just running around the house making noise?
Yeah, always making noise. Ask my siblings and my parents. We're getting annoyed, sometimes. But no, my mom's side of the family is super musical, so just kind of always grew up in it. And Gina and I definitely took it the hardest the biggest. Both my older siblings, played instruments and they can both definitely sing really good too, but it really just hit Gina and I the hardest and we took it and ran with it and stuff. But especially like in the worship world too is, around middle school is when we were really like, no, we got to sing this music. This is what's filling us up and stuff. So I can remember singing like, I don't like her, but old Taylor Swift songs when we were super young with my older sister Lucy and stuff, and just always jamming. And I just want to share this quick story.
Yeah, please.
I can't remember. I mentioned this in my eulogy at Gina's funeral, but we were about to go to someone's birthday party or something, and we were singing Happy Birthday, like prepping for this party. Not that anyone ever preps singing Happy Birthday.
I guess if you want to get it on cue, you have to. Maybe that's why I suck at it every time.
Oh my goodness. But I think I was singing melody, and Gina was starting to harmonize and stuff, but we were like 12 or something. And yeah, she just started harmonizing. And we were like, whoa, we can do this. And we sounded so good together since our voices were so similar, obviously being twins and stuff. But yeah, so I think around, those early teen years is when we really started singing together and harmonizing and stuff. And it came so naturally. Like one of us could be singing melody for one line while the other one's singing harmony up top. And then we could switch the next line and I could be down the bottom, and it never fooled us. Like we could just go wherever, do whatever. And so yeah, it was awesome. But
wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was there like instruments as well, or was it more like vocal, just worship in general,
mainly
harmonizing?
Just vocal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because now, you're playing instrument, you're doing
a little
keyboard,
bit, yeah.
piano a little bit, and like you're was that just kind of recent stuff you got into, or when did that kind of start?
So Gina played flute since 6th grade. I played trumpet, but we don't really play that in like a worship setting. I don't know, or we never
But
did.
you learned how to read music and learn how to play music from those instruments.
Yep. And then, but we never really did choir. We did it for like 1 year. So I can't look at a
So
sheet of music and sing
it's
it.
Pretty much just like
ear.
family, like you guys, you said there's a background, obviously a talent.
Yeah.
And then God blessed you guys with that, but an eared for it. Wow.
Yep. And so I'm self-taught with piano, and I've been playing it since like probably middle school, but it's basically just chords. People that don't know it think I'm like insane, but I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm not good. Like I can carry myself through a song, but very simply, And then just now starting to learn guitar, which is so fun. But still very basic with it.
Very cool.
Excited for what's to come. But yeah, it was mainly just natural and stuff. And then, yeah, also just saying, Gina and I, like, we did record, like, some songs or some covers, and we did some covers with our siblings, too, for, like, a Christmas present for our parents one year, because they just love when we sing together. Yeah. So, but aside from that, like, whenever I would mention to Gina, like, being singers, you know, as our career or whatever in the future, like, she would always be like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. But for me, I always felt that calling. Like, it just felt bigger than just a hobby, if that makes sense. And I never, you know, we would lead worship and sing the national anthem at events or whatever it is, but that's about all Gina would do. But for me, I always wanted to do more, and I can kind of touch on this more, but yeah, I don't know, I feel like when Gina died, like, then it all came together. I was like, whoa, this was what I was meant to do, and now I feel like I have the resources and I guess more reason behind it to do it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just wanted to say that Gina was always kind of like, no, it's more just a hobby for me, but she was so good. And I was like, we're so good together. Like, and so I never wanted to do it alone. Yeah. No one, you could never catch us singing, just one of us. Like, someone was like, oh, are you guys free on Wednesday night to come sing or whatever? And if Gina had soccer, I had dance, and, you know, only one of us could be there. We're like, nope, we're not doing it alone. And that obviously just comes being twins. Like, we didn't want to do anything alone, literally. And we weren't just twins. We were literally best friends. Like, some twins don't have as close a relationship that we did, but we were tight. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, you got both of us or neither of us. So yeah. But
what was it like? She was like, didn't have the, I don't want to say drive, but like she was just more like loose, just kind of like, yeah, hey, you kind of had like an itch, like, hey, I think we should do this. Like, you were kind of like trying to go, like, hey, Gina, I think we should keep pursuing this. Yeah. And she was kind of more just like, you chill out. Like, we're cool. Like, this is fun. Yeah. We're kind of just keeping it light.
For sure. And she just kind of was like, that's not going to go anywhere. You know, it's hard to make it in the music world, you know? Yeah. if you're not Adele, then people think you're unsuccessful, but that's not true. But anyway, and I think and I did too, but she really just had other callings, and I guess just she saw a different path for her life, you know, in the career aspect of it, and so she was kind of more leaning towards that, and kind of like, yeah, we'll do music, but more just as a hobby and for fun. And for me, I was like, oh, I'm just craving
is this something
to
here?
Do that.
Yeah,
like I said, I never would have done it without her, and so now that I don't have the chance to do it with her, I'm like, I gotta do it alone, I guess. Yeah. You know, now. But yeah, she just was like, no, we'll do it for fun.
Interesting.
So, and I kind of just let her have her way, because I'm not going to force her.
Yeah. It's interesting how that, and obviously now looking back, how how that worked out, where you wanted to keep pushing it, but you're like, I'm not going to do it without you. Yeah. And she's like, well, you know, I'm going to do this. So you were kind of almost like, well, crap, I guess I got to look for something else. Because like, you know, we're either a duo or nothing. Yeah. And you know, obviously things have changed now, but it's interesting how that was the original kind of plan, and things altered. But what was there? I mean, have you always been able to, maybe it comes with dance, but just no fear, go up in front of people, perform? Like, what's your advice to people that like try, or like, okay, I want to do this, but I am just, my heart's racing, you know, I'm scared out of my mind. Yeah. You know, maybe they're just not made for it. You know, maybe that's just,
absolutely. That definitely,
I'm sure you had that moment.
But yes, Gina was such an anxious person, so she was like to the max. Okay. Like, I would always be like, let's go, Gina. Like, we're going to go lead. Like, we're doing it for the Lord. We got it. And when it was for the Lord, like 1000%, she would go and do it, even if she was shaking a little bit, you know, and she calmed down, you know, as the years went on, and she just got more comfortable leading and stuff. I'm talking about singing specifically right now. But for me, I'm just definitely not such an anxious, or not a very anxious person. I mean, now I got some anxiety with life, but before Gina, I just, you know, was kind of, well, okay, it's so backwards. I don't know. It's kind of everywhere. But definitely did feel more anxiety when Gina was still here, like leading worship and stuff. Speaking especially, like if I had a school project where I was presenting, I was shaking in my boots. Like I did not want to do that. And yeah, singing, like I said, when it was more for the Lord, like that just came a lot more naturally, because I was leading, I wasn't performing. Yeah. And then for dance, hands
and feet, you're just
right. Yep. Absolutely. And then like for dance, kind of same thing, being on a stage, but I mean, I always dance for the Lord, since I do everything for the Lord, but you know, performing and competing, I was a competitive dancer. And, I don't know. I feel like when I was with my team, that was a lot easier to go on stage, but when I would go and do my solos, like those were more, that make me a lot more anxious and stuff. But anyway, once Gina passed, like my anxiety about speaking, especially and singing, like I pretty much never have anxiety or like coming here to,
to
speak
do
with
this.
you guys.
Yeah.
Like I would be a lot more anxious and stuff, but I'm just kind of like, nope, like we're all just human. And, yeah, especially when I'm doing it for Jesus, like why am I nervous? I don't know. So
have you always had that ability to just recognize that like the talents you have were God-given?
Yeah.
I mean, has that been very natural for
Yeah.
you? You haven't had that, and it's probably more popular with like us guys, but
Yeah.
having an ego issue
Yeah.
where we definitely, can dip into that ego side.
Yeah.
Has it always been easy for you to be humble and just be like, God's giving me this gift.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for God. And
I would say
just kind of,
so.
that probably
Absolutely.
helps give you that ability
Right.
more versus
Yeah.
fighting yourself on it.
yeah, and that's why it was always kind of hard when I would dance and stuff. And I went to a Christian dance studio and stuff, or they were rooted in those morals and the faith and stuff. But yeah, it was definitely, and it still is hard when I go and do things that's not like for church or in a church. It's hard to share my gifts and talents as much. But yeah, when I know they're from the Lord, it's a lot easier to just go and share them. And yeah, that has been always natural. And I feel like I hope I've at least been perceived that way too, of like,
Yeah.
nope, this is all from the Lord, it's not of my doing. But yeah.
Yep. No, that
I remember when you and Gina would lead worship
Yep.
during Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
And
Oh gosh.
no, this is like Laurel's pregnant with Catherine,
Yep.
our 8-year-old,
Yep.
right? You guys probably first started
Yeah.
doing that
Yeah.
thing, right? And My Lighthouse by the Wren
Yep.
Collective.
Oh yeah.
Right? And little Miss Catherine would, like, that's how I would get her to fall asleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just singing it over and over
Yeah.
and over again. And then she'd fall asleep, and then I'd put her down in her crib, and I'd sing it one more time for good measure,
Yep.
one way out the door. And, like, you guys inspired that 8 years ago.
Yeah. That's
You
so
know what
sweet.
I mean?
Yeah.
How amazing is
Yeah.
that?
That's precious. I love it. Thanks for sharing. That's sweet.
easy for me to get lost in the music side because I love music. But
Same.
so the music thing, you guys were a team doing it, duo. It was all or nothing. This is what
Yep.
you get. You get both of us. You get none of us. You're in it together, but you're
Yep.
also complemented each other well. I
Yeah.
mean, from the actual musical skill
Right.
of harmonizing
Yep.
and melody to just a little bit of anxiety and fear to we got this. This is
Yeah.
for the Lord.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Yep.
Go and take it on. So you guys were really just this unstoppable duo.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And like I said, I don't want to get into the tragedy
Yeah.
part of it, but like just
Should touch on
so
it.
basically, yeah, just to get to where you're at.
Yeah.
So you guys graduate from high school and you guys have college
2024.
plans. Do you and remind me, did you guys have plans? Were you guys gonna go to the same college or different colleges? They
Yep.
were different, right?
Yep, they were
and
different.
but they weren't far apart.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was an hour north of her in Florida. So she was going to go to Daytona State College in Daytona Beach, Florida. And then I was going to go to University of North Florida in Jacksonville, Florida. So I would have been an hour north. And she would have been like where my older sister goes. She goes to Embry-Riddle and Daytona Beach. So they would have been like minutes apart, which
Okay.
I was like, Gina would get a little anxious about like her and I not going to college together at the same school, but I'm like, Lucy's right there. Like,
Because up until this point, you guys were literally. I mean, everything you did was
oh my gosh,
basically. I mean, you were never
Yep.
an hour apart, really.
No, literally, like, the only time I can think that we spent more than like a day apart is I went on a mission trip without Gina I think I was in 7th or 8th grade. Probably, I can't remember.
Yeah, middle school.
Anyway,
Yep.
yeah, and it was for like 5 days, and that was insane, like being apart from her. And so, yeah, like thinking about college and stuff, especially Gina, like I mentioned, she was just a little anxious ball, and so she would get really anxious about it. But yeah, graduated high school from Monticello. We did online school the last 2 years. Thank goodness. I mean, we spent so much time together those last 2 years of high school. So grateful for that because
Yeah.
that definitely, happened for a reason. And
Yeah.
anyway, then, yeah, it was college planning and just living out our last, summer in 2024. And then, yeah, I'll get into the accident a little bit, I guess, and just kind of touch on it. But,
Yeah.
yep. And so, yeah.
And you guys were, you mentioned that she was, anxious with that kind of stuff, and you'll probably talk about it too, but like leading up to the accident, you said that she had like, and maybe I'll just let you share about it, like her demeanor, because
Yeah.
just how I've heard you talk about it
Yep.
before, it sounds a
can
lot
touch on it.
different than maybe the demeanor she had growing up, where
Yeah.
she was a little bit more not stressed out, but just a little more like, all right, you know, maybe not at ease, but it sounds like that kind of turned and changed before the accident happened.
Yeah.
But
I also really just want to touch on summer 2024. We went to a high school like church camp, Camp Lebanon. Have you guys heard of it? I don't know. It's really good. Send your kids there.
Well, share a little bit about it.
Camp Lebanon?
Yeah.
It's up north.
You brought it up for a reason. Yeah. Let's hear about it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So my cousin Sydney, which she's like, we're so tight too. She's like, our family always called Gina, Sydney, and I triplets because we were just so close and stuff, even though Sydney's 2 years younger and like way taller than us, but so she doesn't look anything like us. Or we look alike, just she's way taller. But anyway, Sydney and her sister have been going to Camp Lebanon since they were itty bitty, and she would just always come back each summer. And you know, when it's more elementary, middle school, it's not as, I mean, it's obviously a Christian camp, so it's obviously rooted in faith and you're learning about the Lord and stuff, but you don't really get that impact until you're a little bit older. And so Sydney was like 8th grade, and Gina and I were starting to feel jealous. Like, we need to go. Like, we want that experience too, even if it's only a couple days. Like, that would just be so impactful. So, anyway, I think we went our junior and senior summers.
Okay, so you went 2 years to it.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Yes, sorry. My memory is so bad.
No, you're doing great.
Especially now.
You're good.
But yes, I think we went 2 times, and yeah, I mean, both were super impactful to Gina and I. But yeah, I think after our junior year time that we went, like, Gina was just constantly in the Word, and same with me, but it was just so cool to, I mean, Gina was definitely an early bird, so I would get up, we always shared a room, and she would always just be sitting in her corner reading her Bible, and I'm like, oh, I should probably be up now reading scripture, but
5 more minutes.
you know, yeah, absolutely, but I'll do it later in the day. Yeah. But anyway,
you're the one at night going like, I'm going to read now. And she's like, shut the light off.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. That's for sure how it was. But anyway, so yeah, Camp Lebanon was just super impactful, and just the worship, and obviously us being worship leaders, like, we just felt so on fire. And then just seeing kids our age also just, you know, developing a relationship with the Lord is just so cool. Anyway, so that was just
Is that also about the time, like, you as a family started like getting in the Word together more from the or not? Would you say that's happened more recently?
More recently.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe our senior year that was kind of starting, but it was really after Gina died that really, you know, we were like, no, we got to share.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we did Camp Lebanon our senior year too, and once again, that was just super, super good. We were both just super on fire, and I feel like a lot of kids, after they go to camp or whatever, they're on fire for that week, and then they go back home, and it just dwells, you know. And Gina and I felt that a little bit, but I don't know. I just feel like, especially because we had each other and we got to experience like literally the exact same thing. We were just always there to lean on each other and to just keep each other going. So like, I feel like our fire really never burnt out, which is such a blessing. Yeah. And then, so we went to Camp Lebanon.
You said burnt out. That's such a true thing, the way you say that, because I can resonate with that, where you have seasons where like you're on, and it really resonates when I look back and like hindsight of the things, like opportunities and the seasons that God gave me, where he was like, I was on fire. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, you stop putting wood on the fire and it just goes out. And it's like,
you got to do it.
Golly, I didn't nurture this fire. I didn't keep building the fire. And it just, you can't expect it to just keep going if you're not putting any effort into it, right? So, yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah. Yep. I kind of got these mixed up. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, graduated in June of 2024. Then, I forget, but end of June 2024. Then we went on a missions trip through Resurrection. Gina and I went together. And like I mentioned before, I went on a mission trip like 7th or 8th grade. I can't really remember. But that was by myself.
Yeah.
And that was super impactful for me. And so when we got this opportunity, I was like, Gina, you got to go with me this time. And of course she wanted to, but you know, she was definitely more of a homebody and a little more anxious. So it took a little convincing, but not tons. Anyway, that was such a beautiful week. Just, you know, like I said, being the hands and feet of Jesus through leading worship with our voices, but then this week being able to make meals and to pray over people and to...
Where was the mission trip?
Kansas City.
Okay.
Yep. It was at a church called Reach Church, Kansas City. And so it was, that church is like broken people. It is like homeless people, addicts, criminals. It is in the heart of Kansas City, right in downtown. And so that was just, Gina especially was obviously very anxious being there with those people. Mm-hmm. But
well, it's a culture shock. I mean, if you're not used to...
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and it's hard to believe that exists. Like, right? We have this bubble. We live like this...
Oh my gosh.
Outskirts of Minnesota here, central Minnesota.
With our perfect outfits, you know, everyone at church just looks kind of all the same.
Yeah, there's no like,
you go there and you're like,
it almost really, it's kind of a gut check. Yeah. I'm like, hey, this is like, broken people all around. Yeah. It's not, you know, we are not a perfect society. We are not a perfect country, you know, and we need to help internally too. It's not just, I think a lot of people think of mission trips like, oh, you got to go to a third world country. It's like, well, there's a lot of people here nearby. I mean, at home, you know, using air quotes, but at home that, you know, we need to be hands and feet for.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, so just because of that church atmosphere and what it was, like that really, really impacted both of us, and especially me. Like I feel like, so yeah, we went with a group from Resurrection. I think there was probably like around like 10 of us. Can't really remember.
Adults and kids, or youth, or more youth?
More youth, and then you know,
some leaders.
Pastor John, the youth pastor at the time, and a couple other volunteers came with us and stuff. But then at the same church, like it was through another missions organization, and so there was a group from Texas. Those are more older adults, and then like one guy towards our age too. And then there was a group from Colorado of like high schoolers too. And we were all serving on the same mission and stuff in that church and stuff. And we would go out around the city and just pass out meals and stuff. That was one of the main things that we did. And, you know, they would always encourage us to go and pray for the people. And everyone was so anxious to do it because, you know, it's scary. It sounds bad, but it's scary to go and, you know, lay hands on those broken people, but you need to, right? And so I have always kind of been an anxious prayer. No, that works.
Prayer. Yeah. I don't know perfect English, so you're good.
Oh my gosh, I make up words all the time.
100%.
Anyway, but that trip really sparked like my prayer life. Like you know, once I did it for one person on that trip, I could not stop. And so like, you know, the volunteers would be like yelling at me like, Dinah, you can't go out by yourself. I wouldn't go out by myself, but like the group would be over here and I'd be over here like underneath the bridges, like going and praying for people. And they'd be like, Dinah, like, you gotta be careful. And, you know, I'd keep my eyes open and I'd be aware and stuff. But anyway, that really, really, I feel like
almost give you like a confidence, like a confidence and a strength.
Like you can do this, and it doesn't need to be perfect. Like your prayer isn't going to be perfect, but what an impact you can have on those people with your imperfect prayers, you know. And so that was really powerful for me. But I also, you know, Gina, I think she probably prayed for a couple people, or maybe with me, but not so much on her own. But I just feel like her seeing me do it really kind of strengthened her, and like her desire to want to share more, I guess, share with, you know, more broken people. I don't know.
Well, you guys are just sharpening each other. You know, iron sharpens iron. You kind of mentioned that. You know, it's like my favorite thing to think about. Like, in a community or a group of friends or brothers or sisters, like,
all
you know,
strengths.
Yeah, you know, one of them, we're not all going to have it, so it's like we got to help each other and strengthen each other. So
that's for
that's
sure
exactly
what
you guys were doing. You guys were just back and forth building each other.
Yep. And then on that trip, I mean, the pastor at that church and his wife and his family, we got so close to them, Gina and I did, and that's been such a blessing now. Like that pastor went to Gina's funeral, and but because Gina and I led worship when we were on the mission trip and stuff too,
cool.
like for the team or whatever. And he has 2 young daughters, so we just got super close with them. And anyway, I hope to go back soon, and not necessarily for a mission, but to just serve at their church and be, you know, dive into that again would be really cool. But anyway, that was just such a blessing to Gina and I. Anyway, so that was kind of Gina's kind of last couple serving, you know, missions or experiences with, you know, a bigger group or whatever. And then, the rest of the summer we really just spent traveling and doing other things. It was the last summer
before school, for college. You're heading out.
And I'll get into the accent a little bit more now. But my family is just huge adventure seekers, like always riding and driving things, snowmobiles, dirt bikes. Dad has, you know, a bajillion motorcycles and all the toys.
Which I would have never guessed. Like watching you guys lead worship, I would have never known that you guys are just like, we rip motorcycles and
we look like little precious.
We go 4-wheeling and mudding, and we, you know, it's like I would never have guessed. So like really cool, super cool.
Yeah, so fun. Anyway, so very adventurous people, and you know, we're not typically the people that just go on vacation and sit by the pool. Like we like going and doing stuff and hiking and and that definitely comes from my dad. So anyway, love it though. But anyway, and so, my dad is like, Dinah, Gina, let's go on one last like hurrah before you guys go to school. And so we decided on going, like riding these little like, what are they called? Like road approved
like
dirt bikes,
basically. Like an enduro, road and off-road enduro bike.
Right. Yeah. So like a little step up from like a dirt bike, but definitely not a motorcycle. Let's get that clear.
I got that right? Guys? Enduro? Yeah.
Enduro, I think. Something like that.
Let's go with it.
Anyway, so he's like, let's get those and drive out west and just go ride around, adventure. And have a blast. And we were so excited. Gina especially was so excited, which she was, like I said, more of the anxious person. And so like when we would go and do these adventures, I feel like she was a little more anxious about it. But for this one, she was like, no, let's go. Yeah. Anyway, so there's so many things in my brain, but
yeah, you know, see, I don't want, you know, I don't think we need to get into like, you know, just,
I don't want to, I don't need to get
give
into
us
details,
the 30,000 foot,
yes,
you know, so people understand that don't know you,
yes, yeah,
you know, this big event that happened to
yep.
you. And like I said, then I'd really like to focus on like,
After
since that.
the coming.
Yes. Yeah. The future. We don't need to,
yes,
you know, our testimony is obviously usually what happened to us,
yeah.
but it's also what's happening in front of us.
Right.
So
yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah. I was just trying to touch on.
Yeah, whatever you feel you need to share, but I'm just saying you don't need to get into.
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just have so many thoughts, but
yeah, you're good. Take your time.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, Gina was super pumped, but then in the same breath, I think she knew like it was coming. End of life was coming, and you know you hear those stories all the time that. Yeah. Or not all the time, but sometimes that people know and they hint at it and stuff. And she really was. I guess I just didn't really, you know, obviously when people say the things, you're not like, oh, you're going to die, we can't go.
Yeah,
you know?
no, yeah. You can't live like that either.
Yes, so absolutely. But so like the day before we left, actually, I really, really want to share this one
please.
quick,
yeah.
one really quick thing too. So touching back on Camp Lebanon, we never really led worship when we obviously attended the camp our junior and senior year. But then right after we came back, it was end of July. So like literally a week before.
You went on the
a couple
trip
days
list.
before Gina passed away. Yeah.
Okay.
We had came back from Camp Lebanon and we were at home. Gina was cooking dinner. She was a little chef. She was so good. And we were just sitting in the kitchen and I just had this thought come to my mind. And I don't really hear the Lord's voice, but like I definitely have it in my gut feelings.
Like a
or
presence
just,
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, thoughts. And it definitely was the Lord in this moment. Sorry, I got hiccups.
You're okay.
Anyway, and I just, you know, felt the calling to lead worship at Camp Lebanon the next summer. And so I think I was in the living room and Gina was in the kitchen cooking. And I just walked over to her and I was like, Gina, I think I'm going to lead worship at Camp Lebanon next summer. But like I just said in my sentence, I said, we're going to lead worship at Camp Lebanon. And she just looked at me and she said, yeah, I think you should do it. And she didn't say, no, we're going to do it.
Weird.
Like, you're not going to do it alone.
And she didn't have the ego thing like, what do you mean? Excuse me?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, she didn't.
Just a total like, yeah, you got it.
Yep. And then I walked away and I felt so weird. I was like, why is Gina not going to be there? Like, I remember that so vividly. This was just days before she passed. I was like, oh my gosh, why do I feel like I'm going to be doing that alone? Like, I don't do it alone, but I feel like I am going to. And why was she at peace when I say that right now, you know? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so flash forward then a couple of days, we're getting ready for the trip and stuff. And I think both of my siblings were home at this point. My brother's 4 years older than us, and then my older sister's 2 years older. So school, and I think my brother had his job at this point. Yeah, I think he was just starting his big boy job. But anyway, I think he was still living at home just for the time being, transitioning and stuff. And my sister was home from college for the summer. Thank goodness.
Yep.
Anyway, and my sister Lucy obviously told me this after she'd passed, but she said that Gina came up to her room right before we left, and she just said, I just wanted to come and tell you just in case like all of us die or something, but just know that I'm okay and I'm going to heaven if I die, and I'm doing something that I really love and enjoy, so you don't need to worry about me. And yeah, Lucy also just kind of felt like, why did she tell me that? But once again, you don't go like, oh my gosh, stay here.
Yeah,
like you're not.
You kind of just go, quit being silly. Like you're fine.
Right.
Like have fun. See you in a week.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And then I just briefly mentioned this, but yeah, we loaded up our bikes in a truck, and then we were going to drive into South Dakota. I don't even remember at this point, but so blurred. But
you were going to skip the like 6-7 boring hours across the Dakotas. You were going to get there and then unload
going to Wyoming
and
and stuff. Yeah. And so right before we got in the truck, so we're like all packed up, Gina looked at Dad and I think she might have just been more talking to me, but Dad was obviously around too, so I think he briefly heard it, but she kind of just mentioned the same thing to me, like, you know, if I die, it's okay. And I was just like, what? And she said another thing I can't really remember right now, but it was just so. But I remember and she said that a lot. Like, she was very comfortable with dying because of how strong her faith was, right? Like, she knew where she was going, so why would you be anxious about going to heaven, you know?
Yeah.
And she did always say, oh, this is probably the thing I was thinking, but she did always kind of mention that she was going to die young. Like, she always just kind of felt
just had this
feeling.
Foreshadow. Wow.
And my older sister Lucy also always says that, so I'm anxious about that right now. But I don't think hope that's not true, but we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, but Gina just always kind of had that feeling, and once again, we're not going to stop living because she feels that way. But she kind of mentioned that again right before we left, and like I said, she used to say that all the time. Like, if I die, it's okay. I'm going to heaven. But when she said it that time, I was like, I just felt heavier. And, thinking about it, it's like, okay, we're going on this adventure. Could it happen? But it wasn't like, we're not going to go. So anyway, just kept going and had like our 7 or 8 hour drive to a cabin that we were staying at. And that we literally sang and sang and sang that entire time. Our dad just loves when we sing. So he just loves
I'm sure.
hearing us and stuff. So Gina sang her Moana songs and we sang Christian music and, all the things. Anyway, and then stayed at this cabin and then woke up the next morning. It was August 1st, which was our half birthday, which we always, joke about because it's not actually a big deal. But for some reason, we forgot that day. It doesn't matter. But anyway, and then, just started riding our bikes that day and started on more of the gravel road and stuff for many, many miles. I think like 50 or 60 miles that morning. Stopped a couple times. Oh, also, I just want to say, because it's cute, but Gina and I happened to share our breakfast that morning, which I'm not one to share a meal. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just really precious to me. I don't know, just we got to share her last meal. I don't know. That's so cute. So I just like sharing that. Anyway, so we're driving on the gravel road and then kind of took a stop right before lunchtime, and the weather was just beautiful. I mean, it was August 1st, so beautiful summer weather. And I guess I can share this picture with you guys if you ever want to try to get up on your socials that so people can see it. But we just stopped at this place where you just looked out and you're in the middle of Wyoming, so just hills everywhere and just the nature is just so beautiful. And Gina stopped right away and she was like, if this world gets any more crazy, this is where I'm going to have to live because I hate how evil it is right now. And anyway, she ended up passing just a couple miles down from where that happened, but I just think that's so beautiful to think back, that was her final resting place. And she literally said this is
so beautiful.
This is where I would
she was
be.
Just out of comfort where this feels beautiful. Look at God's beauty out
right.
here.
Yep.
It's not distracted. It's not covered. It's not concrete. It's just how God made it.
Yeah. And she hated, it sounds bad, but she hated the world, as any believer really should, the evil parts.
We're not of the world.
Yeah. And so it was just, I don't know, I always think back to that because it was one of the last things that she said. But anyway, so stopped and kind of made our plan. I had a Rice Krispie treat, which is her favorite. And once again, she asked for a bite. And for some reason, I said yes. Normally, I would say no, but she had it. And so that was also a cutie little thing that, we got to share that. And she enjoyed that. But anyway, and then my dad's like, okay, what's next? Should we keep going on the gravel road? Which way should we go? And Gina was like, I really want to go to Devil's Tower. If we could stop there, after lunch, even though we've already been there. And I'm like, Gina, it's literally just a big rock in the ground. I love it, but okay,
we've seen the rock.
Yeah. But she wanted to go. So that's the route we made. And it just made the most sense to go on the pavement that was coming up versus staying on the gravel. And we were very comfortable with that since,
he's been doing this for her life.
Yeah. And we're in rural Wyoming. There's not really traffic.
Yeah.
And anyway. And so got on the pavement and then we decided on a little restaurant or a little bar or something that was in Hewlett, Wyoming, in a town coming up. And that's where we were going to stop for lunch and kind of regroup again and then make our way to Devil's Tower. And anyway, so we were headed and we were on the pavement and there was no traffic until there was traffic, basically is how I say it. We barely passed anybody. And then, we were going on literally our last curve into town where we were going to stop for lunch. And Gina collided with a semi. And my dad was in front of us. He was actually, I won't get into that. But anyway, I was in front of Gina, then she was in the back. And we had a little...
You realized it before your dad is basically what you're, is this just...
So I was in the middle. And so it was a right curve into town. And then there was a little hill. And then you were in the town, right? Yep. And so I saw my dad go over the hill, look down in my rearview mirror, saw Gina collide with his semi. So I was like, Dad has no idea.
Yeah.
Here I am alone.
Naturally, you would stop.
Yep. And so I was just going to turn around and kind of get into the other lane because, it's kind of hard to make super tight corners with those bikes. But anyway, but of course, like I just said, there was no traffic until there was. So I couldn't turn around because there was another biker group coming. And so I just slammed on my brakes and threw my bike down. And I would just like to say we were very geared up. We had helmets, we had riding boots, everything on. So don't come at me for that. Anyway, and so, I saw the collision. I couldn't see Gina. I obviously knew it was Gina though. but there was just things everywhere, so I couldn't make out her body when I first saw it. And I don't swear, I've never sworn. I'm definitely never got into those like teenage habits, thankfully. But just in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like just ripping off my helmet, running, and all the things. And also, I think this is such a God thing. Everything happens for a reason. But I had a phone stand on my bike, and Gina didn't. She didn't care, so she just had her phone like in her backpack.
Yeah.
But my phone was right in front of me, really easy to access. So I think before I threw it on my bike, I ripped it out of my hands because my dad didn't see.
Yeah.
Ripped out my hands, threw my bike, started running up to Gina, and it was like kind of up the hill because I was getting more towards the downhill. And oh my gosh, I was just sweating.
Yeah.
I obviously couldn't even like function or
Hyperventilating.
Yeah, I wasn't even.
Yeah, you weren't even there.
I wasn't even there.
Out of body.
Yeah. Anyway, running, but once again, I'm in my boots and all my gear, so it was probably like, but trying to get there. Anyway, by the time I got to Gina, there was another guy already like there, which was good, but yeah, he just looked down, or he looked at me and he's like, do you know who this is? And I was like, yes, this is my twin sister. Like, look at her, look at me. Her helmet had flown off, even though it was strapped and stuff. Anyway, I'll kind of be done soon, but anyway, so yeah, she died on impact. We don't really know the full details of who, what, where, all the things. Like I said, I saw the collision.
Not really important.
Not important at all.
Yeah.
It all is the same outcome. I literally do not care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, where was I?
You just got to Gina.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
But there was
the
another
guy didn't know. Do you know her?
Oh, I was just saying,
Yep.
Like, it was just on impact that she passed and stuff. And I could just see this right side of her face. And, like, she just looked so happy. Like, she was meeting Jesus in that moment. Like, you would not think someone who just collided with a semi would look like that. But she was just like, you know, like, I could tell that little smirk on her face was because she was meeting the Lord right then and there. Anyway, I forgot to kind of mention. But as I was running up to her and as I was, you know, as she was at my feet, I was obviously pleading desperate prayers and stuff for a miracle and whatnot. And then once the guy was like, there's no pulse, you know, whatever. Yeah. I just had like a total 180 in my brain. And I was like, yeah. And she's okay. Like, she's with the Lord. I'm not okay, but Gina's okay. So I don't need to keep praying these desperate prayers, you know, that there's a miracle and, you know, all these things. Anyway, so it's all happening so fast. But called my dad, obviously, and he came zooming back over and all the things.
Yeah.
And then, my family, a lot of my family members have their private pilot's license and stuff. And so, because we were far in Wyoming, my uncle was able to come and fly and get us, but it's still, you know, it's a 2 or 3 hour flight. And so, and then obviously dealing, you know, have to talk to the sheriffs and get interviewed and all the things and blah, blah. And anyway, I just want to mention that there was a little pastor and his wife in the church in the town,
in this little town
of Hewlett, Wyoming. Yeah, they had their little church, and she came to the scene. I think her name was Becky. I'll have to look. Okay. I don't know if I'm getting that right. Yeah. Once again, my memory doesn't work. But anyway, she was an angel. Such a blessing to me in that moment. I just really needed it because obviously my dad is just totally distraught.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to, I honestly, like, it sounds weird and hard to say, but I felt like I was the one keeping him together in that moment. And like, you know, that seems very reversed since he's my dad, but I feel like I just needed to, and I had the strength to somehow by the grace of God. I feel like that was because of how strong my faith was, you know, for such a young age. I literally just grabbed him by the shoulders.
And you knew Gina better than even your dad knew Gina.
Yeah,
right?
Probably.
So like,
yeah,
you know,
I was like, she's good. She's in heaven. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, obviously call my mom, and my mom told my siblings and all the things. But yes, Becky, that pastor's wife, was just such a blessing, and I was just able to just have a normal conversation with her, even though my life was just taking a complete 180. And yeah, it was awful, but so good. And it was such a blessing that the weather was so good, because I'm definitely like a sunshine girl. So so glad it was so nice out, and that the views were also just so beautiful. And anyway, so I'm just saying, like, during those couple waiting hours, waiting for my uncle to get there, I mean, it was awful. I just wanted to be on the phone with my mom and just be home in the snap of my fingers. But
a great people with you to provide comfort and just encourage and while you're waiting for your uncle to fly out and get you guys, because at that point you're not like, we don't want to drive back, we're done,
oh my gosh,
we got
absolutely
everything
not.
was upended, so come get us. But even then you gotta wait. So
yep. And then I just wanted to share, there was this little poster board in the church, and it was such a small little church, it's so cute, but it was in the hallway, like on the way to the bathroom. And so I remembered, or I walked by it when I was going to the bathroom when we got to the church while we were waiting for my uncle. I'm trying to find it so I can read it to you guys.
No, that's cool. You're good.
Yes. It just says, God on the mountain is still God in the valley. That's what it is. But like,
Wow.
that was like one of the biggest posters in the church. And I needed that, obviously, desperately in that moment.
Wow.
And so I think about that all the time. And I also will say this, I want to mention this, but Gina, at the accident, one of her bracelets that she made at camp, like, flew off of her. And so I grabbed it off the road and put it on my wrist. It's not this one, but a little green and blue bracelet, and it had a little Jesus fish charm on it. And it was obviously hers, so I'd never worn it before, but I just slipped it on my wrist, didn't think anything of it. Went to the church, just trying to...
Yeah.
Just trying to get by. But anyway, like I mentioned, on the way to the bathroom, I saw that sign. Then I went to the bathroom, was washing my hands, looked down, and I just saw her bracelet. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I don't ever hear the Lord speaking to me. Like, I just don't ever hear verbal like voice, which is normal. Not everybody has that.
Audible. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was him or if it was Gina or maybe a mix of both or, whatever it was. But in that moment, when I looked down at her bracelet, for some reason, it just clicked and I just heard someone say, "You're going to be okay." And it just washed over me, like head to toe. I was like, I truly believed it in that moment. And yeah, anyway, so.
Dinah, that's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely it was.
That's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
That's that guide in that moment. That's the... Can you share your verse that you shared with us from
Absolutely.
2 Timothy?
Yes.
Because...
in that moment.
This is it.
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yeah. I shared with them. But yeah, 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 has really carried me since Gina's passed. But which says, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." And yeah, that's just been so true. And I've been leaning on it because, yeah, what a blessing that is. But anyway, so I had that little washover moment. And my uncle finally came, got on the plane, flew home, and then met like my immediate family, which was then just 5 of us physically, not 6 of us. And I just remember on the car ride home, I was like, it is so empty in this car, like without the extra body. And I was like, and she'll never be here again physically, which was just so crazy to have to be grasping. But anyway, got home. A lot of my family, extended family, was already there. And then the next day, obviously, friends and everyone is just coming over and pouring into us. And some people find that overwhelming. But for me, I really needed that. I definitely am a people person, like I already kind of said. And it didn't change in that moment. I still needed people more than ever. And I still do. So, but anyway, so, then the next 7-ish days, we were just reflecting and grieving and planning Gina's funeral. And I think at the beginning... like Pastor Jedediah and people at the church and my family didn't really think that I would want such a big role in her funeral planning and actually saying a eulogy and stuff. But I was like, no, like I'm doing it all. Like, what are you talking about?
Shines through you is just like the glow of strength. Like, no, like that's, I mean, wow, to have that strength is incredible. I mean, I can't.
And it's not my strength.
Right. Have the strength from God, and I think, so that sign in the church, it was God, the God on the mountain is the God in the valley.
Yep. Same. Yep.
And it's interesting how, like, we all want to be on the mountain, right? Yep. Like, we all want to be on the top. We want to be on the mountain top. But there's no food on the top of the mountain. You can't live on top of the mountain.
Oh, my gosh.
We live in the valley.
Right.
So we need God in the valley.
We grow in the valley, yeah.
Like, that's where everything grows, right? That's where the pasture of animal is. That's where we live in that valley. Mm-hmm. So, but we all have this, like, we all want to be on the mountaintop. Well, those moments are very brief.
Yep.
Those mountaintop moments. But the valley is like the everyday.
Right. Yeah.
So knowing that,
powerful.
God is in the valley with us, whether you go Psalm 23 or, it's that's sign. Wow. That was,
oh my gosh.
I would have taken a picture of that too. There's God just speaking to you.
Yeah.
Like, boom, right on the wall.
Absolutely. Yep. So like I just said, in the next 7 days, we're just funeral planning and, I had very much so, I mean, I'm just very unopinionated person, kind of a perfectionist like you, like, and
points at Adam as she says that. Yeah. Just so we get that on record that she pointed at Adam. So perfectionist. Got it.
Yeah. And want to make it clear, like when I was having my strong opinions or things about the planning, it wasn't about what I wanted. It was what I knew Gina wanted, because I was, I would say probably the closest person to her. Mm-hmm. Not that my siblings and my parents obviously were right there with us.
I'm sure they would say the same thing though. Like,
yeah, they do normally. Yeah. I mean, genetically, obviously, we were in the womb. So, but anyway, so just yeah, she ended up having this beautiful green casket with blue details, which was her two favorite colors, and peacock feathers and things everywhere, which was her favorite animal. And we're not Catholic. My dad was Catholic, but once he started raising a family, kind of switched that. But anyway, but we ended up having her funeral in a Catholic church because
the building, the size, the community,
size.
you guys are very plugged in. Yeah.
yeah, the size mainly.
Yeah.
And my family was like, that's not gonna be possible. Like, Catholics don't let you just go and have your Lutheran service or whatever service you want. Like, it needs to be what they want. And I was like, you just wait and see. Like, why are you fearing? Like, let's make some calls and we'll see. And so we had kind of like the two options. There was the one in Monticello, which I didn't really want for certain reasons, and then the one in St. Michael and such. And her boyfriend went to that one in St. Michael.
Okay.
And anyway, we had never been in it though.
Yeah.
Up until that day of her funeral. Anyway, they ended up saying, yes, absolutely, come and have whatever service you want, all the things. It just worked out perfectly. They were so wonderful to work with. But anyway, come the day of her funeral, there were peacocks all over the altar, like engraved in the stone. Yeah, that was insane. And I don't know if you guys know this at all, because I wasn't really made aware of it yet before she had passed, but peacocks like symbolize everlasting life and eternity and stuff. So
I did not know that. Did you guys know that? You got okay.
Yeah. So cool. That's where we decided to have her services, and then her favorite.
My wife's a bird lady, so
cute.
chickens and whatnot.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Love it. Yeah. And Gina had her own peacocks at home and stuff. So anyway, it's just such a full circle moment, and God knew we needed to be there. And yeah, anyway, very beautiful and impactful funeral and services, which is crazy to say, but it just was because of who Gina was and the faith that she had, and we were just able to really speak on that. And yeah, my dad shared a eulogy, one of Gina's best friends, which is also Gina's boyfriend's sister, who happened to share at the funeral, and then I shared a eulogy too. Anyway, and then Pastor Jedediah spoke, and it was wonderful, which is crazy to say, but it really just was. And I just think that is because of Gina. Like, sometimes we go to funerals and it's sad because it's like, we don't know if they're in heaven. Obviously, I don't actually even know if Gina's in heaven because I'm not God.
You're right.
But because
We're
of the
not
way
the
that
judge.
she lived, and because I read scripture, I'm very certain that she is.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it just made it a lot, lighter and really inspiring for a lot of people.
Gave you peace. Yeah. And it gave others peace.
Absolutely,
and
like a lot of our friends who aren't super strong Christians, or not even friends, but classmates.
I mean, like I said, you guys were young and just graduated high school.
Right.
I mean, you guys were plugged in at athletics and everything else.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they were just also inspired. Like, people obviously still come up to me and are like, Gina, you and Gina changed my life. So, which is Jesus changing their lives. But yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of, I guess, the end of.
Yeah, I said briefly, and she really dove right into it.
Really,
so, and which I guess how selfish of me to try to say, hey, just like cover the highlight. Like, okay, so no, I apologize.
No,
thank
you're
you
all
for
good.
thank you for walking through it.
Yes.
I think that, like I said, people that don't know that are definitely gonna like, oh, okay, we were foreshadowing at it, and I was doing a terrible job of it, obviously.
You're all good.
No, but now, since then. Obviously a lot's changed for you and your family. I'm not gonna, and many other people, but for you, when did you talk? So there's a foundation, Live Like Gina Foundation, and we can try to post some stuff on it or whatever too.
Sounds good.
And that was something that Gina had talked about with you. It was something that you didn't just start like, we're going to do this for Gina, but she really wasn't called to this. It was something that she was talking about with you doing, right? And kind of a little bit.
No, not really.
Didn't you say she wanted to work with, like, she had this?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm kind of trying to tee it up a little and bring you into it.
Yeah. So, like I said, Gina wasn't really feeling super called to music, so she was going to go to school for culinary and then business, and then she was really excited about the ideas of us starting cafes or restaurants or whatever where she could cook, and we would hire people with and without special needs and intellectual disabilities and physical disabilities, all the things. Anyway, so that was really her passion, her drive. But that wouldn't have been like after Gina. Like, it wouldn't have been like Dinah and Gina's Cafe. It would have been more, the connection of those people and stuff. But anyway, so that was really Gina's drive.
That, you took that inspiration.
Yeah, I really took that inspiration and just who Gina was. I was like, we can't just, like, yes, I know we'll still talk about her forever, but I was like, we just need a platform where it can really shine the light of Gina and who she was for all the days to come.
And the life she was living.
Right.
And yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the foundation is more like financial impacts right now, I guess. So like we get donations and given to people who are living the Gina way of life or who are struggling but still leaning on their faith and, you know, all the things. So yeah, right now it's not really like we don't have any plans about starting cafes or really, but in the future I definitely hope to, you know, start it. And now it will probably be more in Gina's name since, you know, all things considered. But yeah, anyway, so kind of ties into each other.
Sorry.
Kind of not, but no, you're good. But yeah, so I think it was my dad who very like said it right away, but he was like, we just need to do something about it. Like we can't just let it be. So someone said something, I think I was the one to say the Live Like Gina Foundation, which I know sounds so boring and so basic and whatever, but it's so true. Like obviously we want to live like Jesus, but Gina was literally the closest person I knew that did live like Jesus. Does that make sense? Like she was just...
No, and I think that's beautiful because you're live like Gina, but it's not like for Gina, it's how Gina lived. Yep. You know,
keep living for yourself and for Jesus. But
and the way she walked and her charisma and just her attitude and the way she looked at life.
Because remember, like what I said, my testimony before I turned 18 and a half was super boring, which means hers was too. Like we never got into, you know, the typical teenage things of
blessing,
drugs and drinking and swearing even, and just, you know, even like, obviously we sinned, like we are, it's our nature, unfortunately, as humans. But especially Gina was just super, she was just super faithful, super kind, the most loving human I've ever met. So anyway, but so I just kind of started thinking about the idea of starting the foundation. And I think not even by even like August 20th, like we had it started, and obviously it was really small, probably just on like Instagram, I think, to start, but then we've obviously just kept building. But so started her foundation and just share.
What did that, so after that, I mean, there was, you know, and we talked about earlier too, and Adam brought up, you know, there's obviously going to be highs and lows of seasons, and you're never just going to, and intentionally the way you're doing it, you're not trying to forget and move on. You're living with, but you're not letting it necessarily pull you down into the valley extremely. You know, obviously there's probably days that are hard. I can't speak for you or your family. But how did that change your like trajectory and plans on, okay, well now, you know, on things you had, did it really change anything for you, or did it more like concrete, like I really want to do this now
with my life plans? Well, so she passed 2 weeks before we were supposed to go to college. Also, Gina didn't prep a single thing for college. And I think it's because she knew. She was like, I don't need to. But she didn't buy anything. You know, teenage girls are like, let's get all the fun college.
In like January.
Or the dorm. Yeah, in January.
For the next year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I definitely was. I mean, I'm a little more relaxed in that realm, so it wasn't as weird. But, you know, I was buying things, had my roommates, all the things. But Gina was like so chill. And like I mentioned, Gina was not like that. She was very anxious. So my mom and I were always like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
And obviously now it makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, so the plan was college. But obviously I was like, nope, not doing that. At least not right now. And so, you know, called the college like 2 days after she passed and just had to explain it to them really quick.
Yeah.
Called my, who were supposed to be my roommates, told them and all the things. But, so I just kind of was like, let's take it like a month at a time. So like, let's just see how I feel come December. Maybe I'll want to start in the spring or something, but that obviously didn't happen. Anyway, so, then I just really, started focusing on me, which I know sounds crazy or kind of selfish, but not really. I'm grieving really heavily.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think you have to at that point, right? I mean, you have to, if you're not able to live in your own skin, and like you can't expect to do anything else.
And I'm so blessed that I had the opportunity to, because I didn't have college. I didn't have a huge job that I needed to show up for every day, like my parents, and they own their own business. So thankfully they've kind of been able to.
Some flexibility, but still a lot of responsibility too.
And then my sister going to school down in Florida, like she went back like 2 weeks later, and we went down with her and moved her in and tried to, and we visit all the time and, you know, still do. But, and then my brother, was he still at home? Yeah. Anyway, but just saying, he had his job. And I feel like the rest of my family members were really like
shoved back into
reality. They got to keep going.
Shoved into life, so to speak, or reality. And you had like this window where you could like, oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah. Which was a blessing and a curse because, you know, I feel really stuck.
You couldn't have anything to distract yourself.
But, Or I'm like, what's my purpose now? What am I doing? Like, I need to do something, which I was grieving, you know.
Tragedy creates, or loss creates calling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're here because of that in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
I would have never done this.
Yeah. Yep.
right? Like I'm a landscaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know about microphones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thank God for Chuck.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's so real. Like I kind of mentioned, like I always had these passions and these callings for music, but also just speaking in general. And I don't know, I just have always looked up to, Christian speakers and stuff. I'm like, I wanted to do that. Like I feel such a calling to do that, and Christian authors and stuff like that. So anyway, was tapping into my grief and Gina's foundation and continuing to share who she was, because already at that point, like it was picking up speed with views and stuff. And so just trying to really explain who Gina was and why we're trying to live like Gina. Like people are like, who's this Gina girl?
Right.
I'm like, let me tell you.
Yep.
Anyway, so doing that, but then also just sharing my grief very openly, which I've always been a super open person. So thankfully it's normally pretty easy. I don't mind being vulnerable. It's so helpful to others. So I don't mind it, if it's going to help someone, even if I shed some tears, it's okay.
Yeah. Being raw, being real, I think resonates naturally with people. If you're very natural, people just believe you and want to get to know or want to understand.
Yeah.
And then they kind of, like you said, live like Gina.
Yeah.
Well, okay, this was I want to kind of look into this.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yep. So doing all that and then starting some music stuff too. I think I was leading worship at Resurrection like 2 months or a month.
I remember
after she passed.
Yeah,
and everyone was
I
like,
remember that
I was
service.
in tears.
Yeah.
In tears? Yeah.
Was,
Everyone was
Yeah,
like, what is she doing?
that was like profound moment where it was, everyone's up there wearing
Goodness
the green
of
shirts.
God.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how I made it through that.
I don't know how I made it through it.
I don't know how the congregation made it through it. I thought we were just going to stop the service there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your family right there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any words. Like, I don't even remember that, honestly. Like I just said, I don't know how I made it through.
These out-of-body experiences.
Yeah, it was the strength from my father. But anyway.
If I could just add something to that, it brings me to 1 Corinthians 14, about halfway through 26. When you come together, each of you has a hymn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
dang it.
But yeah, so just tapping into those things and things that I truly felt called to, even if I wasn't necessarily getting a financial gain, that's not all of what life is about. So tapping into that and
That's God's economy.
Yeah. Yep. I love living in it.
So at what point did you go, I'm going to start pursuing this music thing? Was that kind of the first thing that came to mind, or was it being called to speaking events and encouraging and just sharing? Or was it kind of together? Those things were kind of working themselves
Definitely
through.
more work together. I feel like I was in the beginning more able to do more speaking events and sharing our story.
The Live Like Gina found it, that kind of gave you that.
Yep. And then I was, like, okay, also for Dinah, what am I doing for Dinah too? You know, obviously I'm doing Live Like Gina not for Dinah. That sounds awful. I'm saying like, I love it, but it's also like, what do I see myself doing, or what is the Lord calling me to do? And so then I was like, yes, music. So then I would say, spring of 2025 is really when it kickstarted. So I knew some people that I would love to be in my band. So I reached out to them and they were all for it. And then there were some other people that I kind of had to meet that I didn't know yet. And so then we just all came together. I think it was like March or April of 2025 and just kind of started playing and was starting working on more original songs, which I've always written music.
Okay, I was going to ask if you had you kind of got like the journal of some originals that you wrote, and maybe you and Gina wrote and sang together.
Yeah.
But then, so it wasn't just like, all right, I'm going to do this, start from scratch. It was, there was a lot of things that were from scratch, but you were like,
already there.
Okay, I've kind of done a little bit of writing, and okay.
But let's do it for real.
Yeah, but now we're actually going to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, just started doing that. And my band and I played, at a couple festivals, faith festivals last year and in 2025. And
you released an EP last year, right?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, those were...
Which I advise you to check it out. Yeah.
Just search up Dinah Lillian.
Yes.
Anyway,
Dinah Lillian music. Yeah.
Yes.
It's on everything. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
So, 4 of my originals. And, I listen to them now and they kind of make me chuckle. But it was good in that moment, like what I needed. And I think a lot of people
really
needed
good.
Thank you.
Like I said, trying to, no shock to the audience, we're off, we're not very scripted people. So I don't do a lot of research and I don't do, much, but like I said, knowing that there's more things I can research because you do have platforms out there and stuff. And I was listening to your music and I was like, cause like I said, I love music, and it's the second or third song, What I'm For, or what am I?
What I'm Made For?
Yeah,
Probably
What I'm Made For. Thank you. What I'm Made For.
I'm focused on my future projects.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I'm sure. Like I said, you're already like critiquing your last stuff.
my
Like,
gosh,
I would never do that again. But
No, I do love them. But
what I'm made for. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That song, really kind of grabbed me. Like,
good. Yeah.
I mean, when I met Adam, one of the first things I remember him saying is like, I'm 40 some years old and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
And like you're singing this at 19, 20 years old, what I'm made for. And I'm like, oh, but yet what you're made for.
Yeah.
But yet you're kind of still saying, God, guide me. God, lead me. What am I made for you?
Yeah.
And I was, please check it out, other people, because it was really good.
Other people.
But people out there listening, you people.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. The one little saying that I've also really clinged onto,
Yeah.
clinged onto, I think.
We're all going to be referencing. Someone's going to be sending us like, we should talk to this English expert
Oh
after
my
this.
gosh.
Like,
Which would be my Grandma Ann. She was an English teacher, so she's
Oh,
always
no.
correcting me, which is good.
Grandma.
Yeah.
But anyway, the saying that I've kind of clung onto lately is just having peace and not knowing. Like, at the end of the day, truly none of us know what we're doing. Like, we have these callings and things that we feel like we need to pursue, but at the end of the day, we truly don't know. And so, like, because my life took a complete 180, I'm like, I can face anything, which I know sounds crazy, but like, it is true. Like, I feel like I've faced one of the lowest lows anyone could think of. And so now I literally am just in the surrender mode of just like, Lord, it's you. Take me where you want me. So anyway, just encourage anyone listening. It's really helpful to just be in that mindset of I'm not in control. So anyway, I don't really remember where we were.
More music stuff, I guess. Music stuff,
but,
yeah. So you're working on new stuff or continually.
Yep.
And how many, I know you have, like I said, you're playing up in Duluth in August.
Yep.
Is there more shows that you're kind of keep it lock and
we're
seal for now, or you're kind of
Yep.
just,
Yeah, we're getting some more things locked in and stuff, and then I don't want to be 100% on this, but I can say it because it's not that big a deal, but it's because it's not 100% confirmed yet, but pretty close to. But hoping to do like every other worship nights at Resurrection, or not every other. Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. Every other Sunday worship nights at Resurrection. So Sunday nights, my band and I will just go and lead worship for literally anybody who wants to come. So we hope. Yeah. And then there's also my family and I have been starting to go to a church in Maple Grove too, and so we might try to do something there too. Same thing, worship nights and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I just really love, like I said, I just am very much, I love the aspect of leading worship way more than performing. And those can get really intertwined in the Christian music world. Obviously, there's a ton of amazing Christian artists out there. And if I ever get, to that, that'd be amazing. But for now, I just love the little, let's go to a church. And if only 50 people come and we're just, yeah. So got hopefully a lot of those coming up. And then, some church camps that we'll be playing at too for sure this summer. But yeah, so I guess I'll kind of say this, but two of my band members are kind of splitting ways, going to college because they're seniors in high school this year.
Yep.
And so that'll be like beginning of August. So then it's like, okay, what am I going to do? So I've been kind of thinking about like, do I want to go to school for a little bit, or do I want to go to Nashville and sing or whatever? So trying to, figure that all out. And my band always jokes, like, if I get anywhere big, they'll stop what they're doing and come continue to play with me. So we'll just see.
That's nice of them. Hey, if you get us there, we'll join you again. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding. I know. Yeah.
But I love them, so I would let them. But anyway, but I totally get it. Like, they have, their own callings. So obviously go do that. But anyway, we'll see where the Lord takes me come fall, if that's, more music stuff or more school stuff for the moment. And really my biggest calling in life has always been to be a wife and a mom. So hopefully that's sooner than later, but we'll just see. Anyway, so but for the time being, these next couple months until August, really until that festival in Duluth is really music heavy for me. So I love it. But and I just want to touch on that really soon after Gina died, I started writing a devotional book about finding joy in your grief and stuff, because obviously I'm a very difficult person, always have been, and then now I'm facing this immense grief. So facing both of them and just living and trying to figure out how they coexist, because they do, and you need to let them coexist. Anyway, so I was like, I just am feeling really called to write a devotional about this. I feel like people are either talking about, like when you pick up a devotional book, it's like about joy, about grief, about sadness, about whatever, about blah, 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 building your relationship with the Lord. But it's like, where's the ones that are both? Like most of the time we're going through multiple, emotions in one season, and I feel like people don't really touch on that a lot. So obviously I talk about that a lot in Gina's Foundation, but then in this book that I've been writing, I've been really touching on that. Anyway, I have finished my first draft on that, but I've just kind of like slowed down since my music stuff has picked up.
Yep.
But hoping to get back into that, and then have another book that I started right away when Gina passed, and then haven't touched it for like probably a year now, just because it's really hard. But I do really want to finish it, so hoping in the next couple months I can get into it more. But in his timing. But anyway, it's about our story, my story. So it's literally just going to be 4 chapters. The first one it's just going to be, well, for now, this is first draft stuff. But for now, the first chapter is called The Before, which is just my childhood up until 18 and a half years old.
Yep.
And then the During, which is Gina's accident. So I'll go through it, all the nitty-gritty details and stuff up until probably her funeral, which is kind of when I feel like that During season ended. And then the After, which will kind of be like starting the foundation and my music stuff. And then chapter 4 will be The Coming, which will just kind of be a place where I can write my dreams, and I don't know, kind of in a chapter for not people to hold me accountable, but just so I can kind of go back. So it's just a book about our life and our story and stuff. But anyway, hoping to work with someone a little bit more to get those finalized and stuff. So hopefully in the future, I don't know when, no promises on, and I don't know if I'll be super publishing out to the world or more just my family, but for sure the devotional book I'll for sure I'm
try to share
hoping and I have a feeling I will want to do that with my storybook too. But anyway, that one's just obviously a lot harder to sit down and write and stuff. But anyway, those have been super helpful for me to write down too and stuff. But
I don't know if you could be much busier trying to write a devotional, a book, write music, figure out your band.
She's
record
also
music.
Service dog.
I do have a little service. Well, she's my service dog.
She's your service dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were training or.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can touch on that really quick because I feel like this is kind of a hard topic for Christians, and not just for service dogs, but therapy, whatever makes you happy. And that's not necessarily something that you can do in the church. I feel like people really have a hard time doing and allowing themselves to be okay with. But I just want to encourage you that the Lord is giving you therapy and all these resources like through Him to help you. So for me,
anything in His creation.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I didn't really say this, but my family've always grown up on a little like hobby farm. So I've had millions of dogs my whole life, and horses and bison and chickens and all of the things. So
cool.
Anyway, but dogs have always been like my thing. And so I have this little border collie named Betsy. She's 4 now, but I've had her since she was born basically. And well, literally, because her mom was our like sheepdog for our sheep farm. But anyway, so she was one of her puppies. But anyway, so she did go and work on the farm for a little bit, but now she's back at home. And anyway, once Gina passed, I was like, obviously being a twin, I just always feel like I need someone next to me. And so I've really struggled even just going to the grocery store by myself or doing really simple everyday tasks that people wouldn't think about. It's really hard for me. And I obviously do have PTSD from witnessing the accident and anxiety and all the things. And I wouldn't say that I would say anxious emotions. I have never been diagnosed with anxiety or depression. I don't think I have either of those. It's more of the anxious emotions, depressing emotions, which are normal. Obviously, I'm going to have them.
Yes, 100%.
But anyway, I was like, I want her to come along with me everywhere I go. Everyone, or all the places are like, you can't bring your dog. I'm
unless it's a service dog.
Right. Yep. So I just had her trained in January to be my service dog. And I also, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Do you guys know what that is? I don't really talk about it much because it's hard, but it is a chronic illness, and we're pretty sure it like stemmed from the accident because trauma can really spike it. But it's really like a neuron imbalance in your brain, and then it spikes joint pain, muscle aches, fatigue, memory loss, all the things. So dizziness, all the things. So I just have all these symptoms constantly, and so I'm hoping to hopefully get that settled. I've been working with doctors and stuff, but haven't really settled it down yet. But I'm hopeful that I'll find something sooner than later, or the Lord is just helping me get through it. But anyway, the joint pain has been really hard. But anyway, just even having Betsy just sit right next to me and petting her, like, just really calms me down. So I was just kind of chatting with my parents, and I was like, can we just get her trained or whatever? And being a border collie, like, she's crazy. Like, girl wants to herd animals.
Yeah,
like,
they have a lot of
she
energy.
Doesn't want to really chill, So I was like, I don't think I can do it myself. Like, I've trained our like farm dogs, but that's like sit and stay,
It's like your pet. Yeah. Not go out. We're going to go into all these public places.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, got Betsy trained in January, and now I just kind of take her wherever I want. And it's more for like, she's trained in like I don't need to get into it, but more like pressure point therapy right now, not necessarily like my physical pain yet. So we'll see in the future if I want that. But for now, it's more just having my little companion and stuff. So
how much joy do you see that Betsy also brings other people?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like,
so
you almost
much.
draw a crowd now, whether you wanted to or not. I think, like, if you have a service dog, kids especially, but even you can tell the other, like, adults or kids or older kids that have something, or they've been through something.
Yes.
And that dog really just, it's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So just like another way to reach, another way to be a hands and feet, right?
Yeah.
That you didn't even realize. You were doing it kind of for yourself. And I'm not saying that selfishly.
Right.
But it's
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. It's
cute.
It's like, wait, just another way to serve.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just in Florida and then Arizona, and I brought Betsy to Florida with me. And in the airport, like, my favorite, I love when the little kids are like, puppy, but my favorite is when like the 30-year-old men are like, oh, cute dog, you know, like, you wouldn't think they would say that, but it like
brings them back to like
so
a childhood state or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, and Betsy loves it too. So anyway, it's just been such a blast, and she just brings me so much peace. But like I mentioned, like, that's from the Lord. Like, He's giving us these resources and stuff. So I'm gonna use them up, And same with therapy. I started going to one therapist at a Christian place pretty soon after Gina died. Saw her for like a year, and then I just switched to another one recently because she specializes in some other things to help me with more like PTSD and stuff. And it's hard, let me tell you. Like, working through the trauma and the accident and stuff, like, I feel like I'm like, okay, like, I feel like I can't do anything after I have my 10 a.m. therapy session, but it's so good and obviously so helpful. But
the fact that you could even do this, I mean, I know like you've done other podcasts and speaking events, like, we're not the first one to go through this, but it's amazing that you have, the strength you do. And so the fact you're so open with, hey, I know who my Savior is, but I have these talents for God. I'm going to appreciate the gifts God's given me and the animals He's given me. Yeah. I'm open enough. I'll go to therapy. I'm not like, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. Like, you're not, I think it's incredible that, cause you're young and it's like, well, why do you need with it? And I think it's really impressive how, like you said, you were just completely, God, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? Yep. And I'm going to try these things and I'm going to give them everything I have for you. Yep. And also by doing that, it's also going to work on the things I've been through and the traumas I've been through.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And just to be real, just kind of wanted to walk kind of more through my grief journey and how it's kind of been, forming over the last, how long has it been? So it's going to be 2 years, right? Yeah. It was just 20 months. So that she had passed on April 1st. But anyway, so I feel like that first year, everyone's always like, you're numb, blah, blah. I never felt that sensation of numbness. Like, I knew it was real. I was very well aware, like, from the first second I saw her, but it was also new where it almost felt easier, or not easier, but like the first year felt easier than it is right now, which I'll get into. But because I was like, oh, it's just different, I'll get into it, whatever.
Kind of the year of first times.
Right. Absolutely. Which sucks. It's not easy, but because it was new and I haven't felt it before, it was like, okay, I think I can do this. Yeah. And
it wasn't triggering at the time because it was just like, okay, I haven't done this.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And also, I'm just sharing what my journey is like. If yours is completely different, that is perfectly fine and normal. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. People tell you that time heals.
Yeah.
Well, that's not correct.
Yeah. Nope. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I always kind of I kind of forget how it goes, but it's like, it doesn't get easier, you just get stronger, I think is what it is, or something like that, which is true, and it sucks. Yeah. Like, why, though? Why do I have to be this strong at 18 and a half and come 20? But anyway, so now we're coming into year 2, or already have been in year 2 for how long?
8 months, 9 months?
Yeah. Quite a while, but
call it that. Yep.
Anyway, and it's way harder, like this second time around, and I think also just just personally, like as Dinah, I'm just like, where am I going? Like,
yeah. You did a year of almost being Gina.
Yeah, and just kind of just grieving and just tapping into that. But now it's like, okay, where's Dinah going?
Yeah.
Like, and like I said, my main calling really is to be a wife and a mom, and I see myself there. But it's like, am I doing that right now? Am I doing that in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever? So do I go to college? Am I doing music? Am I doing music for the rest of my life, or what? You know, is it just filling my time now? Anyway, so just lack of like direction, or my friends I feel like all my friends are very good students, and they all went to like the 4-year university and are doing this and that, and. But then when I go and have conversations, they're like, we're lost. We don't know what we're doing. And it sucks. And I don't like school. And I'm like, then that helps calm me down. I'm like, wait, like, you're fine. We're all lost in life.
Yeah.
Whoever said, like, you're lost at 40 years old, too. Like, no one knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is it's just how it is. We don't
That's the
have our
truth.
plan in our hands, you know? You know, we'll keep trying to follow the path with our heart. But anyway,
So,
I'm listening to him. But
I'm just going to say this to give you some, encouragement.
Yeah.
The Lord makes your path clear.
Yeah.
I think he's made yours pretty clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
So, like everything outside of that, that's college, that's career, that's whatever. But like, he's made your path so clear in this.
Yeah.
And you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. So sweet.
Well, if I can just add something, 2 John 5, and now, dear lady, I am not writing you a new command, but one we have had from the beginning. I ask that we love one another, and this is love, that we walk in obedience to his commands. You're a perfect example of that. It's beautiful
It's a great verse.
to hear it.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you. Yeah, so kind of forgot what train track we're on. Yeah, year 2.
Year 2 and how it's
just
gotten
saying,
harder.
I was just texting.
It hasn't gotten easier as the society would tell you it is.
Oh my gosh.
But it's gotten harder.
Yes, and not to discourage anyone if you're, really fresh in your grief, but more to encourage you that it's going to be so different. And so just keep clinging to your faith and remembering that it's not going to be the same. Even the seconds right next to each other could be different. Like 1 second I'm smiling, the next second I'm bawling. But anyway, yeah, like I mentioned, I was in Florida and Arizona the last 2 weeks, and in Arizona, I was with my boyfriend and my grandparents, so I wasn't with my parents or my siblings, or Betsy didn't come that time, and so I was starting to feel really homesick, because at that point I had been gone for like 9 or 10 days, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to need to live with my mom forever? Like, what the heck, and whatever, all the things, but yeah, so really just been clinging on to people, because that's truly, the Lord, and then my family and my boyfriend and my friends. Those are really the ones that are keeping me going.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it's been really hard lately. I just have been feeling the loss of Gina so much heavier come year 2, because I've experienced the new ones and I hate them. Like, I don't want it. I want her cooking the meals for our holidays, and I want her to be able to rant to when I go to bed, but I don't obviously get that anymore. And I still have her in a different way, and she's came to me in some dreams and stuff, which has been super powerful and whatever. But anyway, just here to say that year 2 has honestly sucked, but the Lord has always been with me, and I still have my amazing people. And it sucked, but in the same breath, it has been so amazing, and I've still had so many incredible experiences and stuff too. But yeah.
Doesn't make it easier though.
No.
I think that's the raw, authentic who you are.
Yeah.
Is it's like, God's gifted you, ability to sing and play, learn instruments and speak to people and do things for him through the abilities he gives you.
Yep.
But it doesn't make it easier necessarily for you.
No.
You're an instrument for God, and you're very
Literally.
acknowledging that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that, like, just because you can do that and someone else might think, oh my gosh, look at, she's got such a great voice, she can sing, doesn't mean that you go home at night and everything's just like rainbows and sunshine,
right.
and you're in it. You're
absolutely.
You're
and
in that valley.
I try to share that. Like, I think I just posted a reel and a TikTok yesterday on the Live Like Gina Foundation, just explaining how much of a struggle it is to one moment be so sad and to be grieving, and I'm so sad for myself. I'm not sad for Gina, not one bit, because I know she would not want me to be.
Yeah.
Right? She's perfectly fine. And then in the next breath, because I am such a strong Christian, I would say, and am rooted in scripture and all the things, I feel a lot of peace, with my life and where Gina is and stuff. But like, how am I supposed to hold them at the same time? It's so hard, but you just need to, and you can't be, I said in the video, like, don't let them fight. Like, don't be mad at yourself for for feeling sad and, feeling bad for yourself. But then also when you're not sad and you're feeling peace, like I'm trying not to guilt trip myself into thinking I need to be sad 24/7, right?
Yep.
So yeah, and like I just kind of said, just always trying to be super honest, because I am a very honest and open, vulnerable person, that like it's not always easy. So just always trying to share that on Her Foundation, and then also on my music stuff too. I try to do that too, obviously in the way that I write, even too, like you can tell in the new songs I'm working on too. But anyway,
but that just echoes, some of the stuff we've talked about, and I think there's this image of like, okay, you're a Christian, life's perfect.
Yeah, right.
Well, that wouldn't happen to you, right? If life's perfect, you went through that,
Yeah.
but God's plan is bigger than our plan,
Yep. Yep.
Thy will be done, not I will be done.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I always go back to that when I'm like,
oh my gosh, I
my
pray that,
ego
like,
or
every day.
things don't go my way. And I'm like,
Your
okay,
will.
this is, thy will.
Yep.
And, we could still pray and ask God, for things and things we hope for.
But don't
I
cling
think
on
we
to
have to
them
be
if they don't
submissive
happen.
and be like, but we understand this is your will.
Right. Yep.
So I think that's the pains and the just being authentically you is such an incredible gift God's given you,
Yeah.
even if it's very difficult for you to
Right,
do it. You
yeah.
do an amazing job of it.
Thank you.
So I would say, keep running down that path that you're on.
I will.
But, no, that I'm blown away by your ability to share all the things you are and give the credit to God, but also just be really vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's something that I think today's society needs more.
Yeah.
Just real people,
Yep.
authentic, not the AI person, the AI video, the AI bot. I feel like we're tethering. We're on a line here where we have to learn how to live with that and use it for good.
Yes.
And we're trying to do our best with that.
Yeah.
I'd be lying. I'm sure, in music too, there's ways you use AI for certain things to try to help as a tool. But there's also anything that could be used for good. Someone's going to try to use it for evil.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
But I think being human, being authentic, speaking to people, singing, worshiping, those things don't get any more real.
Yeah. Yep.
To me, there's nothing more real than like authentic music, like worship music, playing it, singing it. It connects with people more than, I think music is like the great unifier.
Yeah. Oh,
is
for
what
sure.
and I'm a music nut. Like I said, so maybe I'm just
Don't
on
know
a
if
horse
Adam
here.
would agree, but
Yeah, I'm just Adam loves music. Adam loves music. No, Adam loves music.
worship.
But
Just kidding.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
You know the red acoustic set at Resurrection?
Yeah.
That was mine.
Aw,
My
yeah.
dad donated it.
Oh,
you know,
cute.
like,
Yeah.
isn't that wild?
Yeah. Yep. So you get into it, but
yeah. No, but
Worship struggles. I have worship struggles.
which is okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, don't be sorry.
I'm working on it. Okay?
it's forcing us to explore,
Yeah.
more of what worship is and other forms and stuff.
Which
but
is so beautiful.
yeah, no. Well, Dinah, I really appreciate you coming on. Do you have anything else you want to share, or any?
Could we pray Dinah out of this?
Yeah, we can end on a prayer.
Great.
Let's do that.
But yeah, I don't think I really have anything else. If you're curious, we have the Live Like Gina Foundation.
Yes, please
which you
plug,
can do.
and we'll definitely
sounds good.
blast it too. But please,
Perfect. Yeah. So just like online on the website is livelikegina.org, and then on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, Live Like Gina. I think on TikTok there's like an extra A at the end of Gina because someone else had the username, but whatever. If you search it up, you'll find it. And then my music stuff is Dinah Lillian Music, and then also DinahLillianMusic.com. I have I think I have Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok now for my music stuff too. And then for my songs, on Spotify, Apple Music, all the things. So any streaming service basically. And hopefully releasing some new songs soon and maybe my books in the near future. We'll see. But I think that's it.
No, that's awesome. And I would say check her out. Even if you're not in a season of grief or a low spot in a valley, I would still encourage you just for the inspiration that Dinah
Because
can
you
bring.
probably will be at some point.
Exactly. And I think
so build your faith now.
knowing where to go
Yep.
is big. So yes, please check it out. And like I said, we'll post and link and
Sounds
do everything
good.
we can on our
Thanks.
end
Perfect.
as well. So
Appreciate it.
Let's pray out of this. You want to fire it up, Adam?
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for Dinah. Thank you for her time, and thank you for the beautiful spirit that you put inside of her. We thank you so much that you've put us in the same community, that we've gotten to witness this from the time she was young with Gina and her family. Thank you for putting all of us in that space so we can pray for them, and that we've gotten to witness this amazing journey that they've gone through to be a testimony to you, the whole family, not just Dinah, but the whole family. Heavenly Father, we pray for healing in grief and in PTSD and in the physical ramifications of an event that aren't fully understood yet. And we pray that we're able to continue to be a community for their family. We pray for amazing things in the Live Like Gina Foundation, that it can touch so many lives. And we pray that Dinah herself doesn't get lost in some of these grandiose things that you've called her to do that are amazing things. But we just pray that she doesn't get lost in that, and that her relationship with you can grow and grow and grow more and more and more. And it's an amazing testimony to a strong faith of a super strong young lady, that she's able to continue this. And I thank you that I get to share her story with my little girl.
Lord, we lift up this testimony, and we thank you for Dinah being here to share this. We thank you for the strength you give her, and even, when you're not on the when she doesn't feel like she's on the mountain, when she's in the valley, even if you're in the valley for much longer seasons than you are on the mountain, she knows where her help comes from. We know where our help comes from. And that's just very relevant in everything she shared today, and her strength and her foundation and bedrock of you is inspiring. And I just pray that would get those waves, and that the ripples would go out to people that need to hear and need to see the strength of, like Adam said, such a young lady that's been through so much. And I'll echo what Adam said as well, that you would keep being her lighthouse and guiding her with the many, many blessings and opportunities that are in front of her, and that she would, not feel guilty being Dinah. And I think that the way she's sharing and living on Gina's life or memory and impact is incredible, but I want her to also feel the direction you have for her, and that she can be Dinah, because I think that there's so much in store for her, and I'm excited to see it and be a part of it any way I can as well. And God, we thank you for this young woman and for all her and her family are doing for you.
We've talked a lot about the mountaintops, the valleys, grief and joy, and I think all of us can really resonate with this psalm. I know it's one of Adam's favorites. I think it's a lot of our favorites, actually. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. All right.
I love that scripture.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being on. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And all right. Till next time.